You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
All right, Black and White Sports supporters, we're going to talk about Baker Mayfield. Now, in case you're wondering, Baker is still number 3 behind Damar Hamlin, who looks like he's going to run away with this comeback player of the year. It's a complete sham at this point. And number 2, Joe Flacco, very deserving. If Baker wasn't going to win it, it should have been Joe. All right? I don't think anybody would dispute Joe Flacco winning it and beating out Baker, but I could see a world where Baker should win it as well. Baker had a career year, and he's also going to be a free agent. He's going to be a coveted free agent. Albert Breer came right out and suggested the fact that, you know, if the Falcons do end up pivoting back to Belichick, then Baker Mayfield's going to be a real candidate to go to Atlanta. So the Buccaneers have to make a decision. We're going to take a look at the kind of contract he's going to get. All right? But first, now, Todd Bowles has took a lot of heat. I did a video a couple of days ago, and I just put in the thumbnail, he quit. He gave up, which is basically what he did at the end of that Lions game. In case anybody doesn't realize, the Lions mismanaged their timeouts, all right, on their kneel downs. And there was a world with one timeout left where Todd Bowles could have forced the Lions into a decision-making scenario where they would have had to kick a 50-yard field goal. He chose to just let the game end. And you have to make them either punt the ball or kick that field goal. Because obviously, if they, look, 50-yard field goals are not chip shots. Tyler Bass just missed a big one, right? From less than 50 yards for the Bills. And nonetheless, let's say they missed a field goal, or you block it, or you block a punt. If they decided to kick it back on a punt, obviously the Buccaneers, the game's not over. They could have a couple of shots at the end zone to tie that game. And Todd Bowles just decided to not do it. And he's taken a lot of heat. I ultimately didn't think it was a fireable offense. A lot of Bucs fans thought it was, okay? And I think part of that's got to do with there's a hell of a lot of good coaches on the market right now. By the way, Bill Belichick connected to Jason Light. He loves Baker Mayfield. I'm just saying. Come in, coach the defense up. The offense looks pretty good if you don't lose Dave Canales. Tampa Bay, Super Bowl. Just saying. He probably won't do it because of the Tom Brady thing, but it's certainly worth throwing it out there. So Baker Mayfield has come out. He is praising Todd Bowles. Now, he's been very clear he would like for Todd Bowles to stay. So, Tampa Bay Buccaneers quarterback Baker Mayfield does not sound like someone who wants to play football elsewhere next season, even if it's not entirely within his control. Following the Bucs' divisional round loss to the Lions, Mayfield raved about head coach Todd Bowles. Quote, "He's an unbelievable guy," Mayfield said via Tampa Bay's official YouTube channel. "People say whatever they want on the outside, but that guy's even keeled. I like Todd Bowles. I do. I certainly like how he views a lot of the social aspects of sports. He's got some jabs that he throws in. He's a really witty guy, a fiery passion. He doesn't wear it on his sleeves like I do, but I respect him. He's a great guy. I enjoy working for him." Interesting. It's not hard to notice that Mayfield said enjoyed. Past tense. Of course, he's speaking off the cuff, so there may be nothing to it. But it's also entirely possible the 28-year-old is completely aware that he's a free agent this offseason. He's very aware. If that ends up being the case, that being the last game, it's safe to say that Mayfield loved his time with the franchise. "Through all of the shit that I've been through, I leaned on a lot of people here. I learned I could do that," Mayfield said. "I've had a lot of people that helped me out through the year and just made it special. So you go through stuff where I was at in my life, not just football, and this place helped me out. And so I'm thankful." Now, we know this deal is going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of about $30 million a year. All right, a very Geno Smith kind of Derek Carr kind of deal. He's obviously younger than both of those guys. And believe it or not, I actually feel like Baker's somehow more stable than either one of those guys. I just kind of feel like for whatever reason, if he'd have went to the Saints, that would have been a better team. If he'd have went to the Falcons, hell, a much better team, you know? And while Geno kind of fell off a little bit this year, Geno still had a solid year. And it went right down to the wire. By the way, Buccaneers fans, Pete Carroll is available out there, just throwing that out. And I think this coaching cycle has been one where there are so many big-time coaches. I have to think the majority of organizations had to take a look and go, are we sure we're better with this coach than Vrabel, Belichick, Carroll? Jim Harbaugh's now off the market. But you get the point. You know, are we sure we're better with Todd Bowles than Pete Carroll, than Bill Belichick, than Mike Vrabel? You know, my answer would probably be probably not, okay? And I like Todd Bowles, but probably not. Now, we know Mayfield played for $4 million and a bunch of incentives on his contract, all right? Now, we think he's definitely earned the right to come back. So here's where we stand with this. The interest is mutual. I love this group. Now, Todd Bowles said he wanted Mayfield back too. Obviously, who knows how it's going to play out, but I can't say enough about this organization and the opportunity they gave me this year. Just thankful. I hope it works out. That would be a tricky proposition, according to NFL media's Ian Rappaport. Mayfield would like to return on a real big-time quarterback deal. Mayfield lobbied for wide receiver Mike Evans, who has an expiring contract, to be re-signed after the Lions' defeat. Boy, he had a really good year. He also had some bad drops at bad times. I mean, he dropped a touchdown the other day against the Lions. Evans earned the Pro Bowl selection and second-team All-Pro honors because of a 2023 season with 79 catches, 1,255 yards, and 13 receiving touchdowns. A hell of a year. And this may be the most impressive stat. 10 straight seasons with 1,000 yards? God, wow. So this is the contract you're looking at. The Buccaneers would probably be comfortable paying Mayfield in the Geno Smith neighborhood. The Seattle Seahawks signed Smith to a 3-year, $75 million contract, averaging $25 million per year with $40 million in guarantees, where $27.5 million was fully guaranteed at signing in March. So almost $30 million was right off the bat and out of the way. The deal is worth as much as $105 million through salary escalators for a maximum of $35 million a year. In other words, if he went out there, and we already know this didn't happen because the season just ended, and Geno had won the Super Bowl 3 consecutive years, then his contract could have been worth $105 million. He was never getting that, right? Smith was coming off of a 2022 campaign where he threw for a franchise record 4,282 yards with 30 touchdowns. That's a hell of a season from Smith. Smith resurrected his career in 2022 under the tutelage of current offensive coordinator with the Bucs, Dave Canales, just like Mayfield. I think that's exactly why the Panthers are taking such a hard look at this dude. All right, because you got Bryce Young. If you ain't he kind of looks like a bust. And I thought he was going to work out. I'm not so sure. So I think the Panthers are looking at Canales, and they may still, if something happens with the Falcons, and I still think it looks like Mike Vrabel's going there. I think the Panthers, it feels right for Canales. A lot of people are saying now that he won't get that job. If he doesn't get that job, your chances of re-signing Baker go way up. All right, way up. So I don't know. You're going to be looking at roughly, I think, 26 to 31 million a year. Probably 2 to 3 years for Baker. And, total value, somewhere in the 80 million range, 90 million range, with about 35 to 40 being fully guaranteed for Baker. I think that's what you're looking at. And there will be competition for Baker. There will be. There's going to be competition for Baker from the Falcons probably, depending on who their coach is. The Raiders could certainly look at him, and the Steelers could certainly look at him. So it could be a 4-team race to re-sign Baker Mayfield. If they lose Mike Evans or they lose Dave Canales, then I think your chances of getting Baker, unless you're willing to sort of overpay, I think your chances to re-sign him go down. I think that's the two prereqs there with getting Baker to re-up with the Bucs. Is can I keep my offensive coordinator and obviously keep my comfortableness in the offense? This offense works for Baker. And can I keep one of my biggest weapons? Or the Bucs are able to keep Canales and they're able to go to Baker and say, look who we're about to draft. One of these two guys, two hot shot wide receivers or one of them or whatever, that can sort of backfill Mike Evans, you hope, or one of the free agent guys that could backfill Mike Evans. Michael Pittman Jr., T. Higgins, you get the point. Because Mike Evans is getting older. He's going to be 30, etc. I think he's already 30. I don't know. Baker likes Todd Bowles, so you know that. Tell me what you think, black and white sports supporter. Interesting. This Baker Mayfield thing is going to be really interesting, and it's going to, oddly, this is a player that is very popular on this channel that is, in theory, going to be in competition with with all four teams that we cover pretty regularly. Raiders, Steelers definitely, Buccaneers definitely. 3 teams we cover, and the Falcons we're starting to cover more and more. So it's going to be interesting. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.